stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Podcast. I am your host, Sterl the Pearl, and I'm back at it again with King Kai Cam this week. What's going on with your King Kai Cam?
Hey, feeling good, baby. 6-3, top of the division. Feeling great, man. It's been a good week.
Hey,
Looking
man, I
forward.
love to hear it. I love to hear it. Say it to me again, but slower, Daddy.
Hey, 6-3, 4-0 in the division.
Oh,
Top of the division.
oh man, I
Got a
can't
two-game
take
cushion.
it.
Got a two-game cushion in the division.
Oh, hey, second win streak this year started so far. We already had a three-game win streak. Haven't lost any games back to back since starting out 1-2. We are 5-1 in our last six, with that one loss being the one against Seattle. We on our second two-game win streak this year. Going into New Orleans. We're not gonna get too much into the details of that one. That'll be another episode. But boy, that's a dumpster fire right now. Starting to look like.
Dude.
Them boys, they got some stuff going on. So, it's always a pleasant day on the Silver Lining when we can tell that team in gold and black to go get bent. When
It
they
took
have
long.
misfortune, then that is a silver lining for us, no matter what season it is. I think we can agree there. Um, I got some other things too. We like to enjoy being a fan, making being a fan of the Falcons fun. So we like to gloat a little. We just saw that Bijan, he had the most yards after contact out of any back. Oh, not back, player, receivers included. Which does make sense because I got to be honest, I've been really enjoying watching Bijan the last few weeks. The guy he's finding that way to take what he had at Texas and bring it to the NFL. It's starting to actually show up. I think I said it on the last podcast. I still want to see him get, some more down the field routes, some more one-on-one coverages down the field. We hadn't gotten to that part yet, but he's still getting all those yards after catch, after contact. A big reason of that why, and where I feel like he's starting to hit his next gear in the NFL is he's starting to be that guy who when you have to he has a man in the run scheme or in the pass scheme. And what I mean is if I have 7 guys blocking and they got 8 in the box, the 8th guy, whoever the ball carrier is, that's your man. And like, hey, that's why the running back got to be one of the best athletes on the field, and why running back you can't just put a receiver back there because sometimes the running back got to find a way to defeat a guy that's unblocked coming at him. Bijan, I keep noticing the guy gets the ball, the first guy in the area is not the person who's going to be catching Bijan. Maybe Bijan will only take a gain and go for 7, 8, 10 yards, whatever. But he usually made somebody miss to get that. That was a gain that could have been 0. But Bijan, he just too quick. He just too fast. He just too strong sometimes. He had to play against Seattle. The guy hit him right in the hole, and no, man, he spun out of that thing and got down the field. You know what I'm saying? So Bijan's getting real good in that aspect of his game, and he's turned. He was already an okay blocker to me. He's turned into a great blocker. He's turning into a great safety outlet. He's great behind the line. I just want to see him getting more down the field.
Oh, I agree. He stands out on film. Like when you watch him play, you notice Bijan. And I love it, man. And people say we spend too much on the running back, but hey, we got a premium running back. We got a top 5 running back, arguably top 3. He is playing phenomenal this year. Sure, like it was a little bit of a slow start, but I really think he's finding his groove, and I've loved what I've seen from him. I'm loving his growth, and I'm hopefully he can carry it on throughout the year and even more in the playoffs.
Right?
Yeah, I'm
Right?
talking playoffs. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Hey man,
We 6-3, baby.
Look, we got some more stats to gloat over, but I definitely want to talk about that. We ain't there yet as far as like getting into it, but we 9 games in. I think it's time to go ahead and start thinking. All right, not it's time to stop being hungry and start being greedy, right? All right, before we was just like, all right, if as long as we don't embarrass ourselves, it's fine this year. Now it's starting to look like that's in the bag. Well, now, how far can we take this thing? You know what I'm saying? But before I get into that, so some of the things I wanted to talk about, just to gloat a little bit. So we always talk about the receiving touchdowns. Drake London, he is tied for second in the league in receiving touchdowns, despite missing most of last week's game. And I like to think that he would have gotten one more, but you never know. Hey, look. Um, the only thing better than rose tinted glasses is Falcon red tinted glasses. You get me? And I'm starting to see things real nice. I'm starting to feel that positivity. You get me? So Darnell Mooney, he has a career high in the season for receiving TDs. That one that he had, that 36. Yeah, was it that long? I think it was 36 yards. Yeah, it was 36-yard touchdown. Fourth down, by the way. I think we forgot to point that out on the last one. That was a fourth down play. Man, look, we got to look up the stats. Sorry, I don't have them stats for you, but the Falcons got to be one of the best fourth down performing teams in the league.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I love everything this team does on fourth down. Like seriously, seriously. So before we got on the recording on the pod, me and Cam were talking about going forward on fourth down. In case you want to know or don't know, I hate how much teams let the computer coach for them now. They don't go by feel. They don't go by what have we been doing versus what haven't we been doing. They don't go by situation. Analytics say go for it, so we're going to do what the computer says because the computer's going to be the one to get fired when you fail too many fourth downs unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? And hell, Mike McCarthy did it too last week. I wouldn't even think about that. The fact that we stopped them, what, 0 for 4 on third downs?
Yes, and
3
a
for
fake
16? I
punt
mean, 0
at
for 4 on
that.
fourth down, 3 for 16 on third downs? Something like that. Yeah, yeah. So killing them. But there were situations with going for it on fourth down. I don't believe in going for it as frequently as a lot of teams like to do now. But I gotta admit, when the Falcons go for it on fourth down, they've been having a proper play call for it, but also they go for it in they pull things in their favor before going for it, right? So one of the things I noticed they do as far as pulling it in their favor is that they seem to already have their mind made up on third down that if it's close, they're going for it on fourth down, right? So then they hurry up to the line for fourth down. So already having that decision made that you're going to go for it if you're close already is huge. But also it puts the defense in a bad spot because you might like the personnel they in. They're like, yeah, we're going for it because we know we're gonna get it against this group. We don't want you to change this group. And two, it don't give them a time to see you look and set up a defense.
Good coaching. That's called good coaching.
That's
Something
a
we have
chef
sorely
kiss.
missed. Planning for success. I love
Yeah.
that.
Like, bro, look, that like it does so much. Cause I mean,
It's the
they
little
they
things, man. It's the little
yeah,
things. And in the game of football, it's a game of inches. And the little things pile up. The
they
little
do,
things pile
man.
up, man. It goes from an inch to a yard just like that. And I
Yeah,
like how we're setting ourselves up, putting ourselves in the right position to succeed on these plays.
I agree. I agree. Because look, when you run that hurry up, you stop a lot of these teams from blitzing, right? A lot of them, you can immediately take advantage of what coverage they're gonna be in. You're gonna find out soon if they're gonna be in zone. And man, I would assume that if you hurried up, they probably gonna do man. Playing zone, I imagine in the hurry ups, just I mean, unless you like doing like 2 minute drill or whatever. Playing zone when they hurrying up, it seems risky. You might just want to have a hat on a hat for hurry up. So now you're getting them in man coverage, and you know who you want to attack in those coverages. I think about and when I started thinking about man coverage. Now I can't remember I know for a fact they were the Cowboys were in man when we went for it on fourth down against them with that 36-yard touchdown to Mooney. They were 100% in man, and that's what got them mixed up on that end because then they tried to blitz and then they ran that loop route, that wheel route, and Diggs ran into his own man, and then Darnell Mooney running wide open.
Ooh, good
Um,
play calling by Zach.
that was yeah, and I
Zach
don't
has
know
been in
if
his
it was
bag
man.
lately.
That was look, it was perfect on all fronts. That was a perfect indicator of when you talk about, all right, we're gonna hurry up and get to the line on this fourth down so that they can't change or get their defense set. We're gonna trap them in man. We're gonna trap them against a personnel group, and we're not gonna hurry up, right, on 3rd and 2 from our 10-yard line. Because we shouldn't be going for it at all, even if it's, I mean, excuse me, 4th and 2 on our 10-yard line. We shouldn't be going for it at all then. Right? But when they get in that no man's land, mine is made up. They're like, that's a 55, 56-yard field goal. Run the hurry up. If we do good on this third down, just get out there and we're gonna go for it on fourth. Love that. Already have that worked out. Right? And then they tried to blitz and got exposed. But I also think Mooney's touchdown against Tampa in Atlanta on the fourth down. I don't know if you remember it.
It
Uh,
was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was against man coverage as well. That was a hurry up fourth down play, and I'm pretty sure it was against man coverage. And it's a couple more plays, but those are the ones that immediately jump out. And speaking of 36-yard touchdown, so interesting stats. So obviously, Greg Olson was telling us, Greg Olson, God bless him, we love him. He calls the game well, and he's smart too, man. He's sharp. Such a shame that they had to. I feel like Fox had to put Tom Brady in the prime time spot because they was paying him a mountain of money. But I don't think he's better than Greg Olson.
I
You
don't think
know,
he is either.
yeah. Now he's not bad to be fair. Like I can tell that he's pretty comfortable for a guy who's brand new to this.
Oh,
But
exactly. That's my point. This is his first year, so I'm not going to
yeah,
put
yeah,
Mahomes
yeah.
on this.
I think he'll get better. I'm not. He definitely seems comfortable talking as much as he's having to talk. For, for his first year doing it. Right. But Greg Olson is just, it's nice that he's a familiar face and, he's a guy we already know from playing in the division, but he doesn't seem like he's super heavily biased against the Falcons or other teams or anything like that. And, he's knowledgeable of the game. So like we can definitely tell like when he broke down that fourth down that we stopped them on, and he says, "Hey man, if Caden Ellis has his hand in the dirt, man, this is a first down conversion. But he's standing up; he can see the play coming when it's coming." And then he breaks down. And then the Cowboys actually ran that same play against that same look, except we did have a down end. I want to say it was Damone Harris. It might have been somebody else, but we had that same play, and we had an end in the 4-point stance, and he missed it. And I'm like, damn, boy, that boy Greg Olson know what he's talking about. But so with Mooney, I mean, we know currently he's second in the league in explosive plays of 20 yards or more. The first guy is Justin Jefferson at 15. Mooney has 14. Interesting stat I found though. So Kyle Pitts only has 5 explosive plays for the Falcons. I don't have the Falcons total number for explosive plays, but what I can tell you is each of the top 3 most explosive plays for the Falcons all belong to Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has the top 3. He has 4 of the top 5, or he's tied for the fourth one because Mooney has 2 36-yarders. But Kyle Pitts also has a 36-yarder, so that's tied for 4 out of 5 top spots on the team. And all 5 of his explosive plays are the top 8 of all of the explosive plays that we have. And we one of the league leaders in that. So we getting a lot of opportunities, but our tight end that we've been begging for, we say, hey, just let him run. If you need proof that all you need is to let Kyle run, I can think of no greater proof than despite having 5 big plays compared to, Mooney's 14, Kyle Pitts, all 5 of his explosive plays rank within the top 8 on our team, including the top 3. right? And he was a hair under 50 yards on his touchdown against Tampa. But if he would have had that, that would have been three 50-yard plays for the year. He had 49, so three 50-yard plays plus 49. Like, yeah, he got three 50-yard plays. You just don't have a technical 350. But yeah, we round up around here when it's necessary. When I'm making a point. All right. So yeah, we kept them in, man. Look, I really want to see them use Warner and just leave him in more to block and let Kyle run more. What
Oh,
you
I
think
agree.
about that?
I
You
agree.
agree? I just need to know if I'm tripping.
No, there are times where the game dictates we run the ball a little bit more. So I get him being in on packages where he needs to block. I get that, especially on like it's gotten to a point where I feel like at least once a game we'll have a drive where we'll just run it every play, and I love that.
Hmm.
I thoroughly enjoy watching us do that because we got a team that can do it, and it's usually at the beginning of the third quarter where we'll just we'll just shove it, we'll just run it down their throat, man. So as much as I do want get Cal the ball more, like sometimes we got to use him to block. It is what it is. We
Yeah,
are
but
running.
see, my issue is that they're using him to block on pass plays. Like the sack that Kurt had where he got stripped. Now that was clearly supposed to be a double team with Bijan coming over to help. Either a double team or maybe Bijan thought somebody was coming in the gap next to Kyle, but Kyle being one on a pass in a pass set against Kyle Lawson, doesn't seem like that's the way they would scheme it. So I feel like there's more value in Kyle being out on a route on those types of plays as opposed to being to pass protect because he's not that great a pass protector. He's getting to be all right as a run blocker, but that makes a little more sense. Run blocking is a little more positional, whereas like with pass protection, you kind of got to be able to. That's a skill set,
Yeah,
right? You can take any athlete from any position and have them do a pass block, and most of them will look like clowns. And not against like a D lineman. Like you just let them block a similar size person, and they'll get whooped because they don't. You just got to know how to do it. It's a lot more technique and nuance in being a pass protector than some people might think. You got me?
no, I feel you. I feel you.
All right. So just want to go ahead and shout this out real quick, just because speaking of Kyle Pitts, I know I don't know if this was the case after this past Sunday, but I know going into the game last week, the Falcons were the only team with two 500-yard plus receivers, right? So then that just I started looking at Kyle's stats, and I'm like, all right, let's see how we could throw Kyle in a little more. So only three teams have three receivers with 400 yards or more. One is the Seahawks, the other is the 49ers, and obviously the last one is going to be the Falcons. But this 49ers one is a little bit more injury based, um, because I don't think it's Ayuk. I think it's Juwan Jennings, Debo Samuel, and George Kittle. Not to say that Brandon Ayuk wouldn't have had 400 yards either, but uh, and the Seahawks, that makes sense. They got the trio. Like if you're gonna have two good receivers to start and then use your first round pick on the third one, you got to throw the ball a little more. That's almost just the rules, right?
No, of course.
So yeah. I'm gonna throw that out. Now I didn't raise the threshold of 430 to 430 yards, but I think the Falcons were the only team with three receivers of 430 or more. So that's where Kyle Pitts is. But I just put the threshold at 400 just in case because it's reasonably close enough. If anybody else fit in, they fit in. Another interesting thing about this. So one of the things I say you want to know the difference Kirk Cousins is having, just one small indicator of it.
Hey man, lay it on me.
The Falcons all of last year had 17 passing touchdowns. Kirk Cousins in 9 games has 17 passing touchdowns. Difference a quarterback in the right play calling make, right? When you got the right trigger man.
Man, isn't it nice having an adult in the room?
Yo, yo. My man Kirk, boy. And it's just so funny. I was actually and we about to get into some of this too. So I was actually talking to a Saint fan online, and I was asking about Mickey Loomis. I was like, hey man, y'all boys done shipped Dennis Allen out of town, but when y'all gonna get rid of Mickey Loomis? I'm like, I made a Scream reference. I said, oh damn, I forgot their names. Stu. I said, hey, if Dennis Allen the Stu here, then Mickey Loomis is Billy. All right, they both the ones killing your franchise right now. But one of the things we were talking about, he was talking about how he hated that Dennis Allen was the coach because he already proved he couldn't be a head coach. And I said, and I'm gonna get into this on our bye week episode, but I said that the one thing I wanted more than anything was for the Falcons to have a head coach with experience, with previous experience. And he said, well, yeah, it's working out for you. I was like, hey, man, that's the difference to having the right head coach and the right trigger man to make. This the same roster that went 7-10 last year. Different coach, different trigger man, 6 wins, 9 games. Already, one more win will have us matching last year's win total. And how fitting would it be to match last year's win total in the place we took last year's final loss of the season?
Ooh, yes.
That's gonna be sweet, right?
And to
Um,
sweep the Saints for the season.
oh boy, I can't wait to talk about that. That'll be on the next episode, I promise. But no, what we do got to talk about, because we got to talk about some serious stuff too. One of the things we also want to talk about. No, actually, before we get into the serious stuff, so I don't know if Kirk is an MVP candidate. Not his fault. It's just some guys playing so damn good. Lamar Jackson is playing so damn good. Derrick Henry is playing at an all-time pace. If he keeps up his current rate, he'll have probably 20 touchdowns, and he'll break the rushing record, I believe.
Yeah,
He'll have 2,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. I'm like, give the man the MVP if he do that. Like seriously, I'm tired of effing around and force feeding quarterbacks the MVP award. When a guy rushes for 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, you give him the MVP. All right, that's just how I feel about it.
Oh, I
Sorry, I
completely
screamed at you.
agree. I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, but let me ask you this though: who you think is eyeballing comeback player of the year?
Comeback player of the year for us. It might be Kyle Pitts.
No. The comeback is officially not coming back from sucking anymore. Them boys got rid of that rule. Joe Flacco won comeback player of the year. It was like he didn't leave. He was just sorry, and then he got to start again. I'm like, so comeback player of the year is now officially a return from injury award. That makes me think about our guy Kirk. Aaron Rodgers was returning from injury. Joe Burrow is returning from injury, I think.
Yeah, he has. Like he had that wrist injury.
Yeah. Who else returning from injury?
Hmm.
I can't remember, but I know those would be your top suspects. I feel like there's a running back I'm thinking about too, but I just cannot remember. But I don't know. Do you how would you feel about Kirk? You think what do you think he is and all that? You think he our lead dog, gonna bring some awards that's and hopefully in addition to a trophy, but you can't win them all. So just time to go ahead and be happy about what you can get.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's the perfect candidate for comeback player of the year. He did tear his Achilles, and he's been looking great. Man, he looks better than he's ever looked.
And like I'm like, and let's be real, he didn't finish coming back when he wasn't done being out when he came back. He's still coming back. You know what I'm
And let's not
saying?
forget, before he tore his Achilles, he was playing at an MVP level, and
He
it's good to
was.
see that we are getting almost. He's not there quite yet, but we're getting that Kirk.
Yeah.
This
Look, I
looks
tell
like
people,
money
man,
well spent.
with quarterbacks, like so one of the things that I wasn't in agreement with a lot of people when they talked about us drafting Penix was that they were saying that he's 24, he's old or whatever, right? And they saying he need to start right away. And I'm like, y'all like this man is a receiver or a cornerback or something. Like most quarterbacks don't really hit like you get the Patrick Mahomeses and the Lamar Jacksons and the Josh Allens where they playing at an MVP level, a non-MVP level, very early in their careers. But it used to be very commonplace where your quarterback didn't really hit his stride until he was about 30. Then once they hit 30, all of a sudden they hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Brady pre-30 versus post-30. Like Brady a whole I could argue that if you took away the rings, Brady was not Hall of Fame in his first 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Now you can't just take away the rings. That's kind of a big reason for the Hall of Fame case. But after that, like after post 30, yeah, that in numbers alone would get Brady in. Like hell, you ain't even got to go all the way to Tampa. Post 30, just in New England would get him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying? So, and I'm just like, Matt Ryan didn't win his first MVP until he was in his 30s. I think Drew Brees' best seasons was post 30. So like it's a big precedent for that. And so when we looking at Kirk, I'm like, Kirk 36 and he just turned 36 in August. So he's in his firm mid 30s and modern medicine is helping these guys play longer. So now they hitting that point in their careers where their game is slower up here, but their body's able to keep up for them to take advantage of it. Because look, Peyton Manning upstairs, he was still an NFL quarterback, but downstairs from the neck down, he was no longer an NFL quarterback. So if if your guy can still play physically, you might see something. And our Kirk, he's playing better than he's ever played, over these last couple of years, and it's starting to show this late into his career because he's been doing this for like the last 12, 13 years. He's at the best part of his career to do that, as long as his body holds up.
No, I agree, man. I agree. Kirk looks good, man. I'm not gonna lie, like everyone else, I had questions about that Achilles. How will it hold up over the season? I know it's early, but like, what kind of Kirk are we gonna get? How mobile is he actually gonna be? Like, I'm not saying he's gonna be a scrambler, but like, you at least have to be mobile within the pocket. But after that Tampa Bay game, and he made that 13-yard scramble, and then after that, did a QB sneak to get the first down to continue the drive.
Yeah.
All my questions were answered. I've seen all I needed to see. Kirk showed me that he's past that injury, that he can continue to improve.
Hey man, I think so, bro. And I think I'm not gonna say we at the tip of the iceberg, but I am gonna say that there is more to come.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree on that. There was way more to come. Like he's good, but he hasn't hit that great standard just yet. And I think it's on the way, and I think it's close.
All
Granted,
right.
we're only halfway through the season, and we got some road games coming up against some teams that we thought were going to be a little bit more pushover than they are, but they have shown look at their record, they're a few teams more wins. Like look
You
at
are what your record says you are. That's what Mr.
and look at
Parcells used to
Denver,
say.
look at Washington. I ain't gonna lie, I thought those were going to be like pushover games, but those are two teams with winning records. So, hey, like it's gonna be a little tougher down the stretch. There are no easy W's in the NFL. Every team's gonna come with it on Sunday. So, but I like our team. I like the way we're we're piecing things together. Hell, even the defense. We haven't really talked about them much in this episode, but hell, even the defense is slowly getting it together. This was a real big game from them this past Sunday, especially against Dallas. Like we
Hmm.
had four fourth down stops. I was real, and we had some turnovers. I was very impressed with how they played. Granted, we gave up some garbage time points, but other than that, I came away from that Sunday pleased with that performance on both sides of the ball.
I did too, man. And look, I'm glad you went ahead because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. So look, yesterday was the trade deadline. It came, it went, and our team remained the same.
I,
How you feel about that, man? You upset or disappointed about it?
I'm neither upset nor disappointed. That us not signing anybody shows that one, any offers that we had, we didn't really want to give up any picks. One, we lost picks on that tampering BS. So we're not in a position where we can give up any that we need all the picks we can for next year. And although we are in a win now phase right now, we also are in a win later phase. And we don't want to give up our win later just for this year. Like this defense is good, this team is good, but we can get a whole lot better next year. We can improve. And sure, we got to sign some more people, extend some more contracts, and it'll happen, but we can absolutely get better come next year. This team is just starting to hit its find its footing and keep going. So like it would have been nice to bring in somebody in, but anybody we brought in, will they have really moved the needle that much? Will they have really improved our team significantly to justify giving up either cash or important picks? I personally don't think so. So, and apparently Terry does too because they didn't make any moves. So, it doesn't really bother me. What do you think?
I mean, look, I know they looked. I know they looked. And look, when you have a situation like this, the thing you got to look at and ask yourself is how many pass rushers got traded, right? So Zadarius Smith got traded. He can only go to one team. Detroit is trying to win today. They're not trying to win tomorrow. They're not trying to win after breakfast. They're trying to win now, right? And we should be too. But I think, with Detroit's already proven success, the fact that they were in the NFC Championship last year, and if we're being real, they should have won it.
Yeah.
They had Josh Reynolds drop two huge balls in that game on like fourth down, basically costing the game in the grand scheme of things. But they feeling like they could have, they probably feeling like they could have beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs in Kansas City that same year, and then getting the Chiefs at a neutral site. I feel like they could have won that game. So, and then they had Aiden Hutchinson go down. So there's just like mountains of incentive there for them to go all in. I don't remember what they gave up for him. Matter of fact, let me look that up for you. So what was he traded for? All right, here we go. Here we go. So Detroit will receive Smith and a 2026 seventh round draft selection from the Browns and give up a 2025 fifth round and 2026 sixth round according to trade. Yeah, maybe we could have gone in a little bit on him. I think that's probably a cap thing that made it hard because I mean swapping a 2026 sixth rounder and giving him a 2025 fifth rounder, I'm like, that's easy peasy. But I don't know what happened with that. But you don't always get the first guy. But the reason why I brought up, how many edges got traded is because no other edges got traded. So basically, if you miss out on the Zadarius Smith sweepstakes, then you missed out, period, because no other pass rusher got traded, which means that these teams pretty much wanted a huge haul for every pass rusher that they were trying to give up. If you didn't trade for one and nobody else traded for one despite trying, that should let you know right there how a lot of that is being viewed, right? Like
Hmm.
how they view their own pass rushers that they have on the team and what they want you to give up for it. Um, Now I
So
do
let's go.
gotta admit, if I remember correctly, and look, I'm not getting nobody excited. Let's be real now. We said on this podcast, what did we say about us making a trade for a pass rush on this podcast? What did we say, Cam?
It'd be nice.
No,
So
we said it'd be nice, but we also said it wasn't gonna happen, right?
yeah, we did say
We
that.
said that. We wasn't about to go ahead and gas ourselves up to believe something that wasn't gonna happen. We knew. We said, hey, it ain't gonna happen. It's just not set up for that. Because we so tight with our picks, every pick has a little more value to us than it might have for another team. Now giving up a fifth rounder and a sixth rounder the following year, you got them there. All right, but like I said, maybe they wanted to do business with Detroit and they wanted to do business with us. We don't know. All right. But that's that. Now what I will say though is that does put eyes on the pass rush we have going forward. Clearly, what this team can do going forward has a cap on it, and the cap is what can the pass rush do? All right. And so that's where we got to temper expectations a little. But What's the silver lining in this? The silver lining is
We got a good secondary.
we got to see a secondary. And look, I'm probably gonna regret bringing this up, but 2 of the last 3 games, I believe the Falcons' pressure rate has been over 40%.
It's improved.
I mean, look, it was non-existent against the Bucks at all. You know, Seahawks suck at blocking. The Dallas ain't the great, but in many years past, have we faced a team with a shitty O-line and shitty protection, and they still don't have a problem blocking us? Sometimes you got to take progress where you get it. And look, let's be real too. Another thing when we talk about the pass rush going forward, some of that was manufactured. If it's manufactured, if it's made by the coaches and players you got here, you can make it again. You know what I'm saying? The problem is when it's just natural pass rushing talent. Like, oh, when everybody just got guys who could just beat a guy and get a sack and you ain't got one, you can't do nothing about that. But Caden Ellis was getting pressure. All right. And look, we got to shout out Epic Katie, man. In the last 3 games, he's been clearly our best edge rusher.
Yeah. So even
Like
Grady has
clearly,
improved lately. Brady's looking better.
like he's had. I know at least for Seattle in this game, he had at least 5 pressures apiece. You know what I'm saying? Got his first sack in his last game. I'm like, hey, look, there's some wiggle there, and look, we don't know when, but we do know at some point Troy is going to be back, right? And if Troy is back, you know, like I said, now Troy's not perfect. Troy is no savior. If you think, all right, we're getting Troy Anderson back, he's gonna make this the 2000 Ravens defense, and we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. No, he ain't there yet. In fact, for all we know, that game against the Saints could be an aberration, but it didn't look like an aberration to me. It looked like he's finally hitting that point where what he got up here is matching what he got down here. And so I think if he can keep that up and also be that weapon that he is as far as like his sideline to sideline coverage ability, I think that'll free up Caden Ellis to blitz way more and rush way more. And then you get games like he got against Dallas where Caden Ellis was kicking ass. Caden Ellis was causing a bunch of pressure. Caden Ellis created a lot of plays when maybe if Dak could have sat back there, he could have made a big play, but shit, Dak had to run. Dak was like, damn, I got to get the hell out of here right away. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what we're looking for. So look, the pass rush, we didn't get a better player, but we might be playing better. So that's the silver lining there. That's what you need to take from it. We said on this podcast, hey, we are not getting an additional pass rusher. We said if you hanging your hat on us having a supreme pass rush, that wasn't gonna happen. But you can take the guys in the building, you can take the coaches in the building, you can perform better, you can play better, you can be better. Right? And so far we starting to see the team trend in the right direction. You know, once we go up, we got 2 more games before the bye. We got the Saints, then we got to go to Denver.
We do.
And we get a bye week to rest and recover. And then when you start looking at the season schedule for the rest of the season, we go to New Orleans, we go to Denver, 2 tough environments to play in, admittedly. We host the Chargers, then we go to Minnesota, we go to Las Vegas, we host the Giants, then we got to go to Washington, and then we host the Panthers. So we're going to be on the road. We're going to be on the road a lot in the second half of the season. We're going to be on the road a lot against quality teams the second half of the season. It does look like if the Falcons at least win the games that we know they're supposed to win, they'll at least be 10-7, right? If we go into New Orleans and we beat New Orleans, then we go into Las Vegas and we beat Vegas. We host the Giants and beat the Giants, and we host the Panthers and beat the Panthers. Gosh, golly gee willikers, we at 10-7. That was like that was what we predicted, right? Something like that, about like something like 10-7. Now, the Broncos are shaky sometimes. The Broncos look good sometimes. Broncos look ass sometimes. We might be able to expose the Broncos depending on how we play. We saw them lose 41-10, but I watched some of that game. That was kind of a game that was they got smacked up, but it's definitely a game that got out of hand out of nowhere for them real quick. Like I think the halftime of that game was 17-10. I think they were leading for a good portion of the first half, and then that game just got out of control in the second half. like it's just so crazy seeing some of them halftime scores and then seeing the final score. Like it was 17-10 Baltimore. And then Baltimore finished the second half 24-0. Damn. But I think I'll save a prediction once I see how everybody plays and injuries and all that come into this week. But going into that game, but I think that's a team that can be felled, right? When it comes to the Chargers, we do get the Chargers at home on a 1 o'clock kickoff. Now, the last time we took a West Coast team at a 1 o'clock kickoff, they smacked us around. But that one was a blip. I think it was a blip. I think it's fair to say that the team should at least be competitive, right? Like they've been so. They've at least won or been competitive in every game outside of that one, right?
They have, and I think that Seattle game was a wake up call. Like they realized, oh, you can't come out flat against any team. You gotta
No.
come. You gotta wake up and be ready.
That's right. That's right. Now the Chargers do bring some of the things I'm concerned about. They bring pass rush, they bring tight coverage on the outside. That can be a problem for your pass game. But we're multifaceted on offense, and honestly, the Chargers kind of a team that if we say, all right, we're gonna try to prioritize stopping the run and sending pressure and playing tight on the outsides. Outside of, I guess, Lad McConkey. So Lad McConkey's a guy I don't necessarily want to press. He's a rookie. He's a receiver out of Georgia, but I watched him a lot in Georgia. He is like a pretty shifty guy. Like if he reaches his peak potential, he could definitely be like a bigger Wes Welker type. You know what I'm saying? And Quentin Johnston, he had a big play, but I still don't view him like a weapon like that. But I think, the Chargers, they've shown they can be felled. The Vikings, they starting to come back down to earth. They still trying out a good defense. It's still gonna be a tight game, but I and then the point that I'm ultimately making is even amongst the tough games on our schedule, I don't think you can count those as losses. All of those teams have and can be felled by this team.
Oh,
That's
I
that's
agree.
my true belief.
I agree.
Right?
All winnable games.
All winnable, right? So, like, I'm not saying that we likely to win or that we're going to win, but they winnable. So I think we can start saying, all right, I think we can, provided we stay healthy and stay focused, we can start, just visualizing and think about playoffs. I think
Oh,
we in a
for
safe
sure.
place 9 games into the season with where we are to say, all right, I think this team can be a playoff team.
You made a great point. If we can stay healthy and maintain the attitude that we have going into this season, I think our floor is 10-7. Like for the rest of the year, I think 10-7 is the worst we'll do. I think
All right,
I
man. I
think
think I'm with you, brother. I really do. I really do. I think I just think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. I think we got off to the start that we needed to get off to, but more importantly, it's starting to look what it need to look like. We not like pulling rabbits out of our head and shit. The team's getting a level of consistency. Like the team started out 1-2, and they are 5-1 in the last 6. You know what I'm saying? So they finding ways to build upon what they're doing. The defense showed something last week, and I think if we do it again, a couple games and the defense start getting their confidence up, you start looking at your quarterbacks too that you're playing in these games. I think we got away because like I said, when you start looking at quarterbacks, you got Derek Carr, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Sam Darnold. Who the hell starting for the Raiders? Is it gonna be Ritter? Is
It
that gonna be
might
a Ritter
be
Bowl?
Ritter or Minshew or
If we
Aiden
get
O'Connell.
yeah, all right, Ritter, Daniel Jones, Jaden Daniels, and the Panthers. Jaden Daniels good. He's still a rookie. All right, and let's not lose sight of the fact that they don't have some games where their offense didn't really pull it together. They do have amazing defense, and they just traded for Lattimore, Marshawn Lattimore, which we'll get into on the next episode. But outside of him, Justin Herbert, he's a baller. We done lost to him a couple times. I'm not gonna talk shit about him either. But I don't think I'm all in on Darnold. I don't view Darnold as like the quarterback that's like, all right, he's gonna tear the Falcons up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bo Nix, no. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, even amongst them tough games, I think think the floor is 10-7. It's the silver lining, baby. What you think the Falcons' ceiling is? Yeah, you didn't
We
think
are
that hard,
six
did
and
you?
three. I don't think we go 14-3. I don't think we win out. I don't think we go 14.
No, we probably ain't winning out. No,
I can see 12-5. I can see 12-5.
pretty reasonably, right?
Yeah, I can see 12 and
Like
5.
we started out 6-3, we finished 6-2.
Yes.
Seems reasonable, right?
Right, yeah. That's doable. Man.
Hell, if they just win the games they supposed to win, and then just nick two of the hard ones and go, split the hard games, boom, 12-5 right there. Now I did say something about us getting the 1 seed. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Detroit went in there, they manhandled Green Bay. They've already beaten Minnesota 1 game this year. So they play a first place schedule though. So we still gotta try to win. But
Yeah,
at this point, I think we just playing more for higher seeding.
ours is a bit more favorable than theirs. It's still there for the taking, but yeah,
It's still there.
right now Detroit is the best team in football right now, in my opinion. Yeah, I know Kansas City is undefeated, and
I'm still buying Kansas City too. It's just
saying I'm buying them as well.
Is
But
Detroit
hey,
just that much better, man?
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Detroit is
Especially
looking.
their offense is a grind. They are putting up points on everybody.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I ain't never talk about this shit on here, but I'm so jealous of Detroit because I always feel like this version of Detroit is what the 2017 Falcons were supposed to be if we could have pulled the whole band back together. If we would have had Kyle Shanahan with that 2017 defense and that bring the same offense back, Detroit is what that team would have been. Because as you remember, Ben Johnson was supposed to be interviewing for coaching jobs, but then he decided to run it back.
Yep.
Now, if the same thing would have happened and we would have ran it back with that improved defense, boy. But say la vie, man. We got that's you either turn the page or tear the page, but it's time to tear the page, move on to the next one. And I think that's a good one to wrap it up right here. It was great being with you guys today. If you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, share, hit the little bell when you know some real niggas uploading. And we'll catch you on the next go.
Absolutely, baby.
Peace.